Hi, I'm Nancy O'Neill and welcome to Suncoast FYI. Today we welcome Mutual of Omaha's new Wild Kingdom series, All-Star Children's Foundation, and the Gulf Coast Community Foundation right here on Suncoast FYI. Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom is back with a new production that showcases conservation success stories aimed at inspiring the next generation of conservationists. The popular documentary series from 1963 is undergoing a revival in the form of the new series, Wild Kingdom, Protecting the Wild. With me now is conservationist Peter Gros, host of Wild Kingdom, Protecting the Wild, to tell us all about the exciting new chapter for the series, as well as how we can tune in. Well, this is quite an honor to meet you and have you here on the show. And I mean, how can we not remember Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom? I mean, what a great show. And it was disappointing when it left the air, but please tell us about your new program and what we can look forward to, Peter.
Well, it was interesting to hear you say that. That's a question I hear an awful lot, is people approach me and say, gee, I grew up watching Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom on Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely.
And then frequently that's what impacted my career choices, that really connected me with nature, seeing that show with Jim Fowler and Marlon Perkins. And then I joined them in 1985. What's happening with the new show is Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, Protecting the Wild, which is launching in January of 23 with 10 new shows. We're here now in Florida filming the series. We've been working with Mote Marine and spent this morning, as a matter of fact, on Longboat Key looking at nests where giant loggerhead turtles have returned, as they have for centuries,
So exciting.
to lay their eggs. And 90% of the sea turtle eggs in the United States are laid along your coast section
Oh my
here.
gosh.
And I was so excited to see how local people are participating and volunteering to protect the nest, making sure they're not disturbed, and working hand in hand with the biologists at Mote Marine.
That's wonderful. Now, how is this series going to be different, Peter? What are you bringing to this new program?
Well, it's mainly different in the manner in which we film it. Back in the original time with Marlon and Jim, the way researchers had to study their animals would sometimes they might have to tranquilize them or net them or rope them, and that's the way it was done in those days. And because of the knowledge that was derived from those shows, a lot of people now are interested this next generation. Our goal is to get a commitment from this next generation about them wanting to do what they can help to preserve the natural world. So the major difference is that, excuse me, we're using drones, we're using motion-sensitive cameras, we're using heat-sensitive cameras.
Sure.
So oftentimes we're filming wildlife, they're not even aware they're being filmed. So much less intrusive.
Yes, yes. Now, what do you hope our audience takes away from this, and like you said, getting the next generation inspired?
Well, what I hope they'll take away is we hear so much of the gloom and doom about the state of the planet and wildlife and endangered species and pollution, and they hear that a lot, but it doesn't seem to me they hear much about the successes. Our shows are all about successes of wildlife conservation, so the next generation realizes that we have had problems in the past.
We're always going to have problems.
We always
you know?
will, but we solved them.
Yes.
Just off the
Yep.
top of my head. I'm
Yep.
remembering in the 40s with DDT, and we stopped using, and there's a resurgence of birds of prey. Some of the rivers were so polluted that you couldn't even eat the fish out of it, and now they've been cleaned up. I think we're going to do the same thing with the issues we have now. As people are near the beach and they're being careful not to litter, when they're out at night during hatching season, for the turtles now not to have their lights on, because it confuses them. The turtles
Exactly.
need the light to go to the beach. to swim out and go to Sargasso's grass and feed out there and survive. So there seems to be an awful lot of local knowledge about what needs to be done to preserve Florida's beautiful wildlife, which you have such an abundance of.
We do. Thank you. Thank you. Now, what are you most looking forward to about this new series?
Personally, I'm honored to be hosting it. I enjoyed working with Jim Fowler for so many years as his sidekick, kind of his co-host, and so I'm proud to be hosting this one. I'm excited that we're getting to tell stories about all of the hard-working conservationists and field researchers who are out there who have made so much progress. So when I talk to an audience and our viewers see the show as it launches in January of 23, we can say, gee, these alligators or crocodiles were highly endangered, and now they've been downlisted because of successes in conservation. Recently we filmed condors that'll be in the show next year when we run it. At one point, imagine this, there were 25 left. Over 500 have been hatched and released back to the wild now.
Oh my gosh.
So we participated in some of the releases. We were in Monterey Bay, where they were having problem there with otters, and the otters are what help keep the sea urchins controlled there.
Sure.
And so we dove with them in this cold water, unlike the water here in Florida.
I hope you had your blueberry shoes or suits on or something to dive in that cold water.
I had a 10-mil wetsuit. Now we're
Jeez.
working with Moulton Marine here, and part of the research they're doing is they're growing coral. So we went to Key West at one of their outreach laboratories and dove and got to see what the reef looked like before the coral had grown, and then what's happened over the last 5 or 10 years. And it's growing 40 times faster in their lab than it does in the wild. So I got to get down up close and reattach some coral and just see all the wildlife that's already returning to these coral reefs thanks to the good work that Moulton Marine is doing.
Wonderful. That's a happy note to end on. Where can our viewers go to watch the new series? You said 1963?
Well, right now, if they'd like to see the older shows, you simply go to RFD TV, and that's what will be airing in January of 23, RFD TV. And then, of course, all the social media we're on that too. If you simply go to wildkingdom.com, that'll connect you with our social media.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all that you do, and I know you have your partner here, Jennifer, that is going along with you and doing the research. So I'd like to give her a shout out as well. So
absolutely.
Thank you both.
Thank you so much.
Coming up, I sit down with Chelsea Hernandez and Stephen Fancher from All Star Children's Foundation. So please stay with us.